Gamers, what are the craziest things you've overheard from an open mic? This happened a while ago, so I don't remember what game we were playing, but me and 3 other guys were playing together. I'll call them Jay, Lou, and Gary. We were waiting around in the lobby in between matches, and Gary comes across the mic and says that he needed to step away for a second and that he would be back. He asked us to wait for him, but if he wasn't back in 10 minutes to go ahead and play another match. We all agreed to wait for him, and he set his headset on his desk. So we were chatting about the previous match. We started hearing some static, and we all assumed it was coming from Gary's mic. So we started talking trash about him leaving his mic on. Then, the static turned into growling sounds. We were a little spooked, but Jay said that maybe Gary had a dog. We didn't talk anymore, waiting for Gary to come back, and when we started hearing what sounded like whispers, we started getting a lot more spooked. At first, we couldn't really tell what it was saying. It progressively got louder until it was loud enough to be understood. It just kept repeating the same phrase over and over again. It kept saying, "Where are you? Where are you? I can hear you." We were all silent, refusing to even breathe into the mic, and it just kept talking. And then out of nowhere, the voice got louder, and all it said was, "Found you." Lou yelped, and Jay fell out of his chair, and I was frozen, stuck still. Then we hear Gary talking and walking towards his computer. We hear him ask aloud, "Why is my headset on the floor?" He picked it up and told us he was back, and we all started speaking at once, trying to tell him what had happened. Gary said he couldn't understand us, so Jay said he would explain. Gary was silent throughout the explanation, and when Jay finished, Gary just said that the reason he had stepped away was because something had tripped his security lights, and his mom asked him to investigate. He didn't find anything. Gary told us then that weird things had been happening in his house for a few weeks. He believed his house was haunted. We all talked about it for a few minutes before Lou told Gary that next time, he just needed to turn off his mic. Gary just laughed and said that he had. Yeah, so Gary is like Ralphie from The Simpsons. I'm in danger. This guy needs to either move right away or burn that house to the ground. No good can come from him staying there. Either the house is haunted, or Gary just pulled off an elaborate prank on his gaming buddies. This didn't happen on April 1st, did it? I had been playing with this one kid for a few months. He was really good at the game and was a good sport. He didn't yell or call people names. He was a great person to play with. We were playing a few rounds one night and he seemed really stressed and he was acting really strange. I opened a private chat to talk with him and I asked him, what was going on? He said that his parents were arguing downstairs. They had been yelling and screaming for a few hours. I chatted with him a little bit longer as we played another round or two. Next thing I know, I hear a loud pop and the kid yelped. I asked what happened. He doesn't answer right away, but I can hear his keyboard. I'm sent a message that reads, "That was a gunshot. I live at address that is 2 states away. Please send help. I'm going to hide." I call the cops immediately and tell them what is going on. I then hear a man's voice. He's yelling the kid's name and telling him to come out. I told the operator everything I was hearing. I was holding my breath, hoping the kid would be okay. The operator then tells me that the officers had just arrived at the house, and I can hear the men yelling about it. After a few moments, I hear the kid's voice again. He's thanking me and told me that the officers got his dad, that he was going to be staying at a friend's house until his uncle could come get him. I was so happy that he was safe. The biggest plot twist was finding out that his uncle lived 2 streets down from me. So I got to meet the kid and his uncle thanked me for saving his nephew's life with tears in his eyes. I got to hear a proposal. I had a group of 5 people I played a couple of different games with. The group consisted of me, a guy in Nevada, a girl in Florida, and a couple that lived in Tennessee. So one day, the guy gets on without his girlfriend. He told us that she was at work still, and he was just killing some time before she got home. We played for a little while, and then all of a sudden, he says he's got to go. We hear him jump from his desk and quickly walk away. The next thing I hear is a door being opened and the girlfriend saying, "What's all this?" We can hear him talking but can't really make out what he is saying, but we do hear the end, though. We hear him say, "Will you make me the happiest man in the world and marry me?" We hear her say yes and then a loud thump. We all start yelling into our mics, and the guy picks up his headset back up and says he'll be back in a couple hours, sounding slightly embarrassed. He logs off and we send him several congratulatory messages, and they got married a year later and sent us pictures. It was one of the nicest things I've overheard while playing games online. I agree, this is an amazing story. We all need this kind of wholesomeness in our lives. That's pretty cool that they got this to be witnessed, almost like having family there. I hope that all of these friends still play games together and remain good friends today. And when the two of them left their mics for a couple hours, I'm sure that they were just having some celebratory time. I helped a guy break into his own house one time. Me and a few buddies were playing some games on a Saturday night. We had played several rounds of Counter-Strike Go, and we were all in need of a break. So we all agreed to take 10 and get done what we needed to get done. One guy walks out of his house to take a smoke, because he rented and wasn't allowed to smoke inside. He finishes his cigarette and goes to open his door, and it's locked. He didn't have anything on him, and he was just stepping out to smoke. He was thankfully still wearing his headset. He tells us that he has locked himself out of the house and isn't sure what to do. He didn't have anything with him. I asked him if he'd finished his pack of cigarettes, and he said yeah, that the empty box was in his hand. So I walked him through how to tear and fold the box to make a tool that he could use to force his door open. It took him a few tries, but eventually he got the door open. We all hollered in celebration. I got lots of questions afterwards as to how I knew how to do that. I just told him that a magician never reveals his secrets. So now they call me the magician and ask me how to break into other things. How does one acquire such useful skills in life? Did this guy do some prison time and then learn how to break into homes with a cigarette box? I wonder if this is similar to using a credit card to push open a simple doorknob latch. People in the comments, does anybody have any idea how in the world this would work with a paper cigarette box? I have legitimately heard someone on my team break up with their boyfriend during a game of Dota on voice. She was using open mic and he was like, "Get off that stupid game, let's go out with my friends," in this horribly entitled voice. After 10 minutes of her being calm and saying things like, "It's okay, hun, just let me finish this game, I'll get punished if I leave," and him just not understanding that he issued an ultimatum, "If you don't turn that game off right now and get ready to go, I'm gonna break up with you." And she just typed in chat, "Hold up for a second, guys, I need to break up with this D-bag." And everyone LOL'd and paused, and she just went off. "This is my apartment, you stay here for free, you don't pay for anything, I buy you all your food, I give you money to go out with your boys, you don't get to act like you staying is a gift from me. You're absolutely useless and I'm tired of paying for your stuff. Get out of my apartment, this relationship is over." And then it's lots of him yelling and bringing up all this crap that she did wrong in the past and accusing her of cheating, as if that was going to help. And eventually, she just said, "Sorry, the relationship is over, I don't care. Bring a truck and one of those friends of yours you love to hang out with so much to get your stuff tomorrow. See if any of them are willing to clothe, feed, and house you." And everyone on voice chat just went, "Ooh," and we were all typing everything that was happening to the enemy team. She eventually got him out of the apartment, and boy, did it sound like she had a world of pressure off her shoulders. After the game, I friended her, and we still talk on Steam sometimes. She really ended the relationship and ended up putting all of his stuff in a storage locker when he didn't come to get it for a week. She has a girlfriend now who apparently isn't as awful and understands how games work. Heck yeah, you go, girl. That had to feel amazing to finally get that off her chest and speak the truth like that. Sounds like the guy got exactly what he deserved. It's great for her, too, that she was able to find a much better relationship, and hopefully, she still gets to enjoy gaming with her new partner. This is a classic example of when you date boys instead of a man. Me, my buddy Jason, and his wife Tara have been playing games online together since high school. We all went to the same school. Jason and Tara ended up going to the same college. They dated and got married shortly after they graduated. I was lucky enough to be a groomsman at the wedding. Even though we live in different states now, we always make time to play a few rounds every week, and we catch each other up on the week's news and whatnot. And one time when we were playing, Jason seemed anxious. Eventually, I hear an alarm go off, and Tara quietly tells Jason that it's time. They excuse themselves, and then I hear Tara's mic get turned off. I never hear the click of Jason's mic being turned off, so at this point I'm confused. I let it go, thinking that obviously I'm not supposed to know, but a few minutes later I hear Jason exclaim, it's positive, we're gonna be parents." I can hear Tara crying in the background. They are both back a few minutes later, sounding much more at ease, and I don't say anything. I didn't know if I was allowed to know yet. And then Jason tells me immediately. I congratulate them and tell them they're gonna be great parents. The baby is born now, and she is the cutest thing I've ever seen. I was playing with a random group of guys one night. We were cutting it up, giving each other crap. We were about to start another round when one of the guys asked if we could wait a second. He tells us that he thinks that the neighbor just shot his dog, and he needs to call the cops. He calls the cops and then plays another round while he waits. We almost finished the round when the cops show up and knock on this guy's door. He leaves and comes back a half hour later. He tells us that the neighbor hadn't shot his dog, but instead had tried to end his life. He failed, and because the guy had called the cops so quickly, he survived. Weirdest night playing video games ever. I wonder why the guy's first reaction was that the neighbor had shot his dog? Is this like a recurring problem in the neighborhood, constant gunfire and animals getting shot? Nonetheless, this guy is apparently the neighbor's guardian angel, calling the police at just the right moment to save a life. In the comments, has anyone else had a moment where you intentionally or unintentionally saved a life? Share your story.